Hey guys, Jeff here, and today I want to talk to you about this little guy right here. This was my attempt at copying KickPix' design. I will link to his video, KickPix mini double pick design, where he showed this pick that he had been making and freely shared this document right here. That I used as a pattern for this. Now, KickPix talked about carrying this in his wallet. Personally, I find it a little big for carrying a wallet, especially if you're going to carry a tension wrench with it also. Tension wrenches with the bends and everything, I just always find them awkward. I used to carry some, didn't care for it, but I am a teacher and I thought, what do I have with me? I have pens with me often. Now, let's see if I have these in the right order. Let's see. Nope, that was wrong. Let's see if it's this one. All right, so the first thing that I considered is a Sharpie. Has a lot of space inside of it. Now, they're often hard to pull apart, and what I realized is you can cut this back end shorter to have space, which is what I did with this one. And I carried that pick, that tension wrench in there. But I picked this one because it was dead. So I was carrying a dead Sharpie. And at one point I actually had a buddy who said, hey, can I borrow that Sharpie? And I kind of gave him a sheepish look and had to explain to him later, no, it's a dead Sharpie. I'm just carrying it to carry picks. Of course, that's a ridiculous thing to do. Plus, this comes apart too easily. So what I then did was I found another one. This one was still just an experiment. And I said, you know, I want to be able to pull off the cap, hand it to someone, and let them be able to do some writing. But if you do that, the ink is extending all the way down here. What I realized is if, as I showed you, I cut off that back portion, I compare these, this back portion, teeny tiny, comes off way too easily. Of course, that's the dead marker, so I'm glad I tried it there. This one is longer. I was able to leave, and I cut off the part of the ink that stuck out the back here. Now, that tends to cause a mess. So I took a hot glue gun, filled this in back here. Once I did that, stuck my tensioner in there, stuck my KickPix mini double. It works. Now it rattles. I needed to figure out something to do about that, but it's still a working Sharpie that I can lend out. Still an experiment on this one, but I thought I still have space. What can I do? So KickPix, I went one step further with your design, still trying to decide how I feel about it. And I did another double in the same style. Now he has a hook and this triple peak on the other end. For me, I said, what can I do similar? I know there's many people who will swear by the half diamond, so I went with that. On the other end, I attempted a city rake. Now, it's not long enough to do a full city rake, but it's still there. And you know what? On the other side of the tension wrench, I was able to stick that in. Only the slightest rattling now because I've filled the space. And if you notice, I cushioned those with heat shrink tube. I finally got a hold of some that has the adhesive inside, and so I started using that just to give me a little something to work with. Now, just as he did before, let's see how this works. With some of my, actually the first lock that I ever got into with this was this Corbin. I've always heard Corbin is such a scary name. I know Brummie's Corbin has traveled around the world. But the day that I bought this, I had a bus ride ahead of me, and I had this kit in my pocket. And let's see if we can get it on camera this time. All right, not working that way. Let's try bottom of the keyway instead. I know that it's almost there. It doesn't take much on this usually for this Corbin. All right, he's being stubborn today. But let's try some other things. Got this little Avis, came from Panda Frog. Now one of the things I might want to do is maybe cut a little step in the end of this, so that way on smaller keyways it doesn't take up the whole thing. But if I can get that in the right way. The hardest part about these is how small they are. They try to roll around in your hand. This was the one that I was able to get most consistently before the camera started rolling. Can I get it now? Try again. This is only a 3-pin lock, so there's not usually too much to it. Now, there's definitely a learning curve when you're using these smaller picks if you're used to bigger picks with bigger handles and all. That's the way it goes when the camera starts rolling, isn't it? All right, maybe I'm not going to get anything opened with it right now, but I promise you, these have worked for me, and I've been quite happy carrying them in this Sharpie. So if you have a clever little way for carrying picks in an everyday situation, and I like this because I have a handful of pens that I pick up every day. With this, put it in with the pens, and this one goes along anytime I've got my pens with me. If I've got pens, I've got picks. So if you have a clever little way that you carry picks, I'd love to hear that. Again, Kick Picks, thanks for the pattern, and to the rest of you, I'll talk to you later. Bye.